One of the largest civil servants unions, the PSA, has accepted government's 7.5% wage offer. It's been clear for a week now that the majority of public service unions would likely accept the deal. Today's news is really, though, a concrete step forward in confirmation. I'm joined by Jannie Oosthuizen, the Public Servants Association's chief negotiator. Mr. Oosthuizen, thank you so much for your time. I was speaking to Terry Bell a little earlier, and I was saying I was wondering how unions managed to convince government to go up to 7.5% when the initial offer was around 3%. He somewhat cynically said he thinks it's possibly because there's an election next year. You tell me, how did that deal reach 7.5?
Well, Sally, yes, I must say it was not easy. It was a very tough round of negotiations. We are very actually satisfied that we could push the employer to a better offer, because if you look at the current interest rates and you look at the current economical circumstances of the country, I think we have done justice in order to at least have a 7.5% on average for our members. Yes, there's a lot of factors that play a role in obtaining the 7.5%. And I think it might be because there is elections coming up. And we will have to see how this is going to play out.
Yeah. So you've accepted, that's a significant chunk. I understand that other unions are probably about to do exactly what you're doing and announce, yes, we've finally ultimately accepted. Are you confident that this deal is basically done?
Yes, no, definitely. There was a special council meeting scheduled today, and the majority of parties has pronounced in council at the bargaining council to say that we accept the offer of 7.5 as stabled by the employer, and then the second year projected CPI. So for us, it's a done deal. Now it's just the processes in terms of the constitution of the Public Service Government Bargaining Council to unfold, which the employer needs to append their signature. Then the agreement will be circulated to the parties that have agreed to the offer and agreed to append their signatures. So most probably the deal will be signed by tomorrow, or the agreement will be signed by tomorrow by the majority of parties.
Yeah, and so the majority holds sway in this case. We know that Nahawu is not happy, but this deal, through the collective bargaining process, is going to be flowed through to everyone. Is that correct?
That is correct. In terms of the constitution of the council, if majority parties, if the agreement enjoys majority signature, it will be applicable on all public servants from level 1 to 12, and those that are appointed in terms of the OSD dispensation. So it will be applicable on all. Whether those that have not signed or that have rejected the offer at the council today is not happy, it will also be applicable on their members.
So does that mean that Nahawu, for example, unhappy, can't sort of go forward and say, well, we're breaking with this deal, we're not accepting it, we want to start some form of strike again? Is that not an option for them now that this deal is basically done?
Well, once the agreement is signed and enjoys majority signature, they will be prohibited for embarking on industrial action, because the law is clear. Every matter that has been regulated by a collective agreement cannot be struck upon. So they will have a tough time in embarking on industrial action further if they would want to go that route. It is unfortunate that Labour as the unity has not have the same voice in this round of negotiations. But as the majority, we were of the view that it is the best offer that we could have received in years, taking into consideration what happened in the last 3 years, and we needed to protect at least our members' cash gratuity that will become our pension will increase, and for going forward in the years, those that are qualifying will also receive the 1.5% pay progression. So the pension will definitely grow, and it will have definitely an impact going forward. It is unfortunate for those unions that do not want to accept the offer, because I think, given the current situation, we do not think that we will have much more in the coffer.
Talk to me about trust levels between public service unions and government. We know that government reneged on that third year of a wage deal on a technicality. We also know that last year they imposed a 3% wage deal. That's made a lot of people unhappy. Has this process managed to heal some of those rifts, or would you say it's still quite a tricky relationship?
Stanley, to be honest, it's still quite tricky. I do not think that trust relationships will be built overnight. This is the first step in the right direction from our view, but there's still a lot of work to be done in restoring the relationships in total. Remember, it hurt us quite hard when we have, for the past 3 years, have not received a pensionable increase, and it's still raw in the minds of our employees as well as union leaders, especially on the attack on collective bargaining. We were of the view that collective bargaining was extremely under attack from government, and that they just went and implemented unilateral agreement or offers, which is totally against the principles of good collective bargaining and orderly collective bargaining within the public service. We do, however, think that there is room for improvement, and we will work hard to restore the relationship. That's why initially you will see the offer was actually for a 3-year term. We then, as Labour, said, no, we do not agree to a 3-year term because the trust relationship is not yet there because of the 2018 agreement that is still fresh in our minds, where the employer reneged from implementing.
You've got a 2-year deal. How certain are you that government won't wriggle out of the second year of the deal?
Well, we did provide for we call it a protection clause within the agreement, which indicating that the employer comply with the regulations 78 and 79 of the Public Service Regulations and Public Service Act, which they have used in the Constitutional Court against us to say, but it did not comply. So that provision is now in the collective agreement, and the employer is bound by that provision that is inserted. In the previous agreements, in the 2018 agreement, such a provision was not inserted, and that's why we have included it, and the employer agreed to that. So we are confident that they did follow the provisions, because they will not be able to get out of this one if they would want to renege again.
What do you say to people watching this, seeing that you're getting a higher than inflation rate increase and going, gee, you guys are lucky, A, and B, I don't think government can afford this because the finance minister said that they can't?
Well, we wouldn't say that they are lucky. We are still of the view that there might have been some funding somewhere that they could have found in pushing the envelope still further. We know that the employer have saved some millions of rands when for the past 2 years they have not implemented pensionable increase, and we were of the view that they could have get some money somewhere, somehow. So I don't think that we as PSA think it's a reasonable offer, but we also would not go out and say, oh, we are so happy about this. It's a reasonable offer, and we can live with this offer going forward.
Oh, well, thank you so much for chatting to us this evening, and it's good to know that this deal is sealed. Jannie Oosthuizen, the Public Servants Association's chief negotiator, that PSA, of course, has accepted that deal, and the other majority unions have as well, which means, according to collective bargaining rules, that all public service unions will get that 7.5% increase.